Clip from Kung Fu Hustle, because obviously it's a non-English language clip, but here's the basic setup. If you saw Shaolin Soccer, which is the Stephen Chow, actually it was made back in 2001, 2002, but it sat on a shelf for a while before it became a huge international success. And it was this strange mixture of, on the one hand, soccer, on the other hand, comedy, on the other hand, kung fu, and a bunch of movie references, and it did really, really well internationally. So now Stephen Chow gets the chance to do whatever he wants, and he comes up with Kung Fu Hustle, which is basically every single thing that Stephen Chow likes thrown together into one big hodgepodge. If a joke comes along, you don't like it, you don't get it, don't worry, there'll be another one along in a minute. It's basically a pre-revolutionary Chinese Western musical fight sequence owing debt to, on the one hand, Chuck Jones's Roadrunner cartoons, on the other hand, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. There are actually odd sets taken from The Shining. All the cast are dressed like the gangs of New York and the Martin Scorsese film. It's literally cinematic gag after cinematic gag, fight scene after fight scenes choreographed by Wo Yun Pen, who did all the work on The Matrix and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and Hero and those kind of films. Now, you may have seen the posters for these, which have got the most unbelievably laudatory quotes. One of them from our very own James King, who said, "It's so much fun, I can't believe it's not illegal." And another one from Jonathan Ross, who said, I think in typical Jonathan Ross fashion, "It's the most fun you can have without taking your trousers off." Now, I feel that that's slightly overstating the point. There are really interesting and exciting and fun things about Kung Fu Hustle. I mean, largely, it's really good to see a movie that has no intentions other than to amuse and entertain you. The plot is completely ridiculous. There is this place called Pigsty Alley, which is being set upon by a bad gang. You know they're a bad gang because they're called the Axe Gang. But it turns out that within Pigsty Alley, there are these two oldies, a landlord and a landlady, who actually are top-level Kung Fu masters, and they end up fighting another oldie but goldie top-level Kung Fu master called the Beast, who is pulled out of an asylum to have fights with them. That's the plot.
And this, in fact, a whole number of people,
yes,
Mark, making the point that actually, and I would agree with them on this.
Here we go.
Val Kilmer in Tombstone playing Doc Holliday was actually extremely watchable. His accent was great. It was a good film.
There are two interesting Val Kilmer movies.
Let's not waste too much time.
I'll be very quick.
Okay.
One of them is Tombstone, because I think maybe his accent is okay. The other one is Wonderland, in which he plays John Holmes, who was the absolutely drug-addled porn star whose life went completely to pieces. And Val is very good at playing somebody who's completely washed up.
As in Doc Holliday in Tombstone. So
yeah,
we're quite
exactly.
right,
So
really.
that's maybe
Okay.
that's the key thing.
So no play at Wimbledon at the moment. You have free range, Mark,
So let's
for a
finish
couple of minutes.
Let's finish with the Kung Fu Hustle business. So the thing is, there's an awful lot of stuff going on in it, and like I said, there is a quite enjoyable central gag about the fact that the oldies are actually far more deadly than all the young gangsters that they're up against. The fight sequences are jolly good fun, although there's an awful lot of computer graphics in them. Now, at its best, it's kind of like The Evil Dead meets The Sound of Music. There's a fantastic sequence, which is a battle sequence with these guys playing harps, and as they play the harps, these imaginary spirit-like daggers fly off the harps and fly towards the landlady, who can only stop them by emitting this great banshee howl, which is known as the lion's roar. So that's a great fantasy sequence. At its worst, it's kind of carry on kung fu, and there's lots of, sort of weird gags about landladies with fags sticking out of their mouth and fairies and fatties and all that stuff, which we don't do anymore in comedy because we realise that it's actually not that funny, but it still seems to have some currency in certain territories. So anyway, so there are good things and there are bad things. Overall, it's really enjoyable and it's really entertaining, as long as you don't want consistency, and as long as you know that if there's a bit that's boring and a bit that's dull and a bit that's stupid and a bit that's spiteful, well, hey, in a minute something else will be along. So it has a cumulative weight. It's not a masterpiece. By quite some distance it's not a masterpiece, and it's not the most fun you can have without taking your trousers off.